Good morning, everyone out there in interwebs land. Welcome to the Center for Spiritual Living, Los Angeles. It's our digital space. So glad to be here with y'all this morning. Hope you're enjoying the slightly cooler weather out there as summer draws to an end. Let's get the service started. First song I got for you is called Good Love is on the Way. I'm a lazy lover, undercover, wasting time. Then one day in summer, I changed my number to cut my line. 'Cause I know good love is on the way. I've been lonely, but I know I'll be okay. 'Cause good love is on the way. Years I've been broken hearted. Now I know a ghost is finally gone. I'm done with broken people. This is me I've been working on. 'Cause I know good love is on the way. I've been lonely, but I know I'll be okay. 'Cause good love is on the way. Yes, it is. Good to go for wherever I'm needed. Bags are packed and I'm down by the door. You can take all the tricks up my sleeve, I don't need them anymore. Good love is on the way. I've been lonely, but I know I'll be okay. 'Cause good love is on the way. Good love is on the way.
I don't think it's just on the way. I think it's here. By means of James Harper, the one and only Donald James Harper. Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
How are you? Welcome.
Thank you. It's always great to be here.
It's always so great to have you here, and I'm so happy to be coming back from vacation and having you kick it off for us with a rock and roll electric guitar kind of morning.
Yes, and welcome back.
Thank you. It's good to be back. It's good to be back. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's honor and appreciate James Harper as he is our music director and guest artist today. He'll take us on a musical journey as he's already done in the beginning. And it's just a pleasure to have you with us, James. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I'll see you guys soon.
See you shortly. And good morning to everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Keith Cox, the spiritual leader here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And I welcome you, as James said, into our virtual space on this Sunday morning, September 5th in the year 2021. As I just stated, I've been away for a couple of weeks on a much needed vacation of restoration and rejuvenation. And it's good to be back. And I want to kick it off with a big shout out to those that took care of things while I was away, and a big thank you to them. So a huge thank you to all of you, Travis Smith, to Robert Hensley, Jeff Onseely, who was our guest in a pre-recorded session a couple of weeks ago, and then of course the one and only Dr. Maureen Hoyt and Yaron Spiewak and John Randall. A big thank you to all of them for covering for me while I was away. And I trust and hope that each one of you had the opportunity to tune in and enjoy what those beloved expressions of spirit had to provide to us and through us, and provided inspiration for all of us. And so welcome to this Sunday morning at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles as we kick off the month of September. in the year 2021. I'm going to place on the screen our kickoff and welcome for the morning, and we'll dive right into that and move right into our morning celebration. We are the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. Our vision statement is supporting individuals finding their personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Today, I invite you to open your mind, your heart, your soul, your being, to become more spiritually awake to your innate divine nature. And as a result of that, on an ongoing basis of practice, of tuning in, of a greater sense of awareness, then that provides personal self-empowerment for you in a way unlike ever before. And that is our objective and our goal as we come together today. As a community known as the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, we open our service with the Sanskrit act of Namaste. That is the placing of the hands together in our heart, in front of our heart, in prayer position, acknowledging that united we become as the spirit within me honors and acknowledges the spirit within you. And so together in this position of our hands, of the act of prayer and Namaste, we raise our hands to our lips, to our third eye, back to our third lips, not our third lips, and put them back to our heart as we bow forward together and say, Namaste. That power within me honors and acknowledges and appreciates and celebrates that which is within you. It's through this act that we consciously become aware of this interconnectedness of spirit that we all share. That's all a part of who we are, whether we're consciously aware of it or not. Here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, for over 30 years now, we've practiced the teachings, primarily the teachings of Dr. Ernest Holmes, whose philosophy, faith, and way of life is that there is only one thing taking place. It's that energy, that spirit, that power, that source of life that permeates itself and individualizes itself by means of you and by means of me. And we use it and experience it and express it through our thoughts and our beliefs and our actions and our reactions and our interactions with life itself. We're all individualizations of this one thing that there is. And so we honor this one thing itself in our service by welcoming all races, all religions, all countries of origin, all sexual orientations, all genders, all abilities, for we stand with you. And even though we don't have the ability to physically stand shoulder to shoulder, heart to heart in person in our beloved home at 1200 North La Brea Avenue in West Hollywood, California, we do that with our mind, with our soul, with our being, with our awareness, and most importantly, with our intention. And so we also do that in our teaching, as we've learned, is through the act of the spoken word. The spoken word has great power because as conscious, sentient beings, we hear the words that come out of our mouth, knowing that they not only have a history to them, a vibration to them, a frequency to them, but they have indeed power because we live in a universe that's governed by spiritual law. And so that which we put out into the universe returns back to us. It's the way it works. It's called the law of attraction. And so today, let's use this intentional law of life through the act of welcoming. As we welcome each other into this virtual space, whether we're joining through Zoom or Facebook Live or at a later date on our YouTube channel or someone tuning in through the other modalities of becoming a part of this shared time together in this beautiful format called technology of Zoom. And so let's affirm as we honor our founding minister, Dr. David Walker, who each and every Sunday morning when we were meeting in person and he was still with us on earth, he would make this affirmation of, we welcome one and we welcome all. I invite us all to take a deep breath in and exhale and say it out loud again together. We welcome one and we welcome all. So sitting in that field of energy of welcoming, of honoring, of acknowledging the power and the presence of the only thing there is, we're going to move now into our ritual that we open our service with in the morning called calling in the light. And as we look at the flickering flame on the screen and using our imaginative abilities to light this candle as if it were a real candle, not virtual, and that we were all together standing in a circle looking at this candle. we shall begin our ritual of calling in the light. For today, we perform this ceremony to promote the universal consciousness of life, which acknowledges that all peoples and all faiths, all sentient beings come from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. I invite us to hear that piece again today. Comes from the one great universal presence, which we call Spirit. I'm going to speak about that later today. Now, the purpose of this ritual, of acknowledging this great universal presence, is to draw into our gathering, again reminding us that in our mind's eye we see ourselves standing in a circle, holding hands. We draw into our gathering a conscious awareness of the oneness and the qualities that we each possess as complete expressions of the divine. As we each reach in and add to the light of the flame of this candle, we begin to do so acknowledging these qualities. And so the first ignition of this flame is for the quality of peace. In this way, we honor the inherent divine state of inner calm that exists within all of us, regardless of any chaos unfolding around or within us. As the next person in the circle reaches out and places their illuminating stick on the candle, we do that, illuminating that part of the candle for the quality of power. Power is defined as the energy by which everything lives. And so we take a deep breath in. Feeling that power, we move to the third quality as the next individual extends their torch to the candle, expanding this illumination for the quality of beauty, which is defined as a personal expression in which high spiritual qualities are made manifest. And so we move to the next quality, witnessing the next individual extending their match, their expression, their individualized expression of the light of the divine, furthering the illumination of this candle as it grows brighter and brighter for the quality of joy. That inner state, which is the impetus of the emotion that exists and is excited by the expectancy of good in our life. The next individual extends their torch to further the expansion of the light that we've called in for the quality of light. Light in this context is known as the symbol of universal intelligence, that which we're each equally imbued with. And so feeling the culmination of these qualities as they build upon themselves of peace and power and beauty and joy and light. The next being of light extends their light to the wick of the candle as we expand the illumination for the quality of life, that which is defined as the animating principle of being, that inner something that makes everything live. As the next individual extends and lights the candle in a greater way, we do that for the quality of love, which is known as the self-givingness of spirit. As it gives of itself, it does so through the desire of life to express itself. The next individual extends their torch for the quality of wisdom, that inner knowing within each and every one of us that guides us to a higher framework of mind should we but let it. So we all affirm together to open ourselves up and allow wisdom to guide us through the next stages of the journey of our life. And now everyone extends the torch in their hand into the candle in the center of the circle. As we light the 8th candle, if you will, which we call the healing candle. And as we extend to the central flame, our individualized flames, to the healing candle, I ask that you each take a moment and think of anyone that you'd like to silently put into the light of the healing flame so that they may experience the eternal and everlasting love of the divine. As we open ourselves up to welcoming one and all and honoring the light within, we move to the next part of this ritual, the affirmation. And today I share with us that which is called the Golden Rule, honoring the different religions of the world, and the Golden Rule for Buddhism. And I invite each of us to hear this and take it to heart and heed the instruction, which is to hurt not others with that which pains yourself. And the flame of the candle grows. Honoring the Golden Rule of Christianity of doing unto others as you would have them do unto you, we take that to heart. Forgiving anyone that's done something to us that's caused harm or pain. Looking at the spiritual practice of Hinduism, their golden rule is to treat others as you would yourself be treated. Looking at the religion of Islam, the creed is to do unto all men as you would wish to have done unto you. Moving to Judaism, as we honor Judaism as they're about to kick off a new year through Rosh Hashanah tomorrow evening. The golden rule is, what you yourself hate, do to no man. And remembering that when we speak of man here, we're speaking of the human, not the gender. Which brings us to the Native Americans as we continue to let the flickering flame of the oneness of life do its part. The golden rule is to live in harmony, for we are all related. Now taking us to the sacred earth spiritual practice, which is do as you will, as long as you harm no one. And so it's through this act of harming no one, we then choose to use our mind, our heart, our soul, our being in a more purposeful and intentional way by engaging in the golden rule. In the next phase of our opening ritual, as we sing together and James comes on the screen, the song, Let There Be Peace on Earth. The lyrics will be on the screen.
Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me. Let there be peace on earth, the peace that was meant to be, with God as creator, united all are we. Let us walk with each other in perfect harmony. Let peace begin with me. Let this be the moment now. With every step I take, let this be my solemn vow, to take each moment and live each moment with peace eternally. Let there be peace on earth, and let it begin with me.
for us, peace is present. This ritual has indeed awakened something within each and every one of us that gives cause to choosing to live by the golden rule in a new way. We give, understanding and accepting that as we give of that which we are, it magnifies and multiplies and returns to us, multiplied abundantly. For that we say thank you, and let it be as we say together, amen. And so it is. James, thank you for that beautiful rendition of Let There Be Peace on Earth. I was singing along in the privacy of my own space here, just resonating in that field of the beauty of your voice and the simplicity of that presentation and of that arrangement of it. Thank you.
I love to hear that. It's easy to make a beautiful song sound good, you know?
Well, thank you. Thank you. You definitely did it. So in that context, you're about to make another beautiful song sound good for us. Would you
So we hope.
share with us the title and the song itself?
Yeah, today I chose Unaware by one of my favorite artists ever, Alan Stone. And it's kind of about maybe knowing what the problem is, but not really knowing what to do about it, and just staying in that state of questioning and hopefully finding a solution.
Well, the solution exists, and it's you. All right, everyone. James Harper.
Every day the deficit grows. You spend more than you owe. Papa always, he said to me, to keep a close eye on your authority, 'cause you say that you can. I was unaware. You say that you can, and I was unaware. No, 'cause all you do is push, pull, tear. We can't stretch it any farther. Push, oh, pull, tear. We can't stretch it any farther. Every day the taxes increase. So is this our land or is this our lease? Papa said, son, it's the land of the free. Yeah, as he broke his back trying to make ends meet. You say that you can, and I was unaware. Yeah. You say that you can, and I was unaware. 'Cause all you do is push, pull, tear. We can't stretch it any farther. Push, pull, tear. We can't stretch it any farther. Say that you can, I was unaware. Oh no, 'cause all you do is you say that you can. I was unaware. I said, 'cause all you do is push and pull We can't stretch it any farther. Push, we can't stretch it any farther. Push, we can't stretch it any farther. Push,
Fantastic.
Thank you.
Unaware. This whole purpose of this teaching is to just continue to bring ourselves back into an awareness. And so I love the lyrics of that song. And while I still have your beautiful face on the screen, let's also wish you a happy, belated birthday.
Thank you so much.
Yes,
Appreciate
James
that.
just had a big birthday this week, so happy birthday. Wonderful. All right, James, I'll see you after the message.
Sounds good.
All right, take care. So wonderful to be back with all of you after my couple of weeks away, and I definitely feel restored and ready to do another Sunday service. And it's so good to see your names online through both Facebook and Zoom, and looking forward to when we can do that in person again at some point soon. And so thank you for being here, and let's kick off today's service. I'm going to throw some graphics and some memes on the screen. I decided today to use this as a meme Sunday, to let memes that I've collected over periods of time in my photo gallery to be a guide to weave us through our message today as we kick off this month of September with our theme of Happy Days Are Here Again. And this morning, as I was preparing for this and looking at the theme and wondering, will there be people out there in our community who may hear or read this or follow it at some point later that'll say, well, if you look at what's going on in the world and in the news, there's nothing happy taking place out there. And yet happiness is not some external. Happiness is an internal job, if you will. And when I chose this theme for us, was prior to my going away on vacation, and it was in the mindset, and still is, that when I returned after 2 weeks away from being in my happy place with friends and family and walking and frolicking on the beach, having eaten lobster rolls and lots of laughter and games nights, and the list goes on and on and on, that I indeed would definitely be quite happy. And the truth is, I am. Happy days are a result of us choosing happiness. The term happiness, when you Googled it, comes up as this. The term happiness is defined by most researchers and policymakers in the happiness movement as flourishing, eudaimonia, which means contributing to good, or living a good life. A good life is a life worth living. When you're living a good life, you feel that your life has a sense of purpose and that you are making a difference. And so my journey that I'm going to take us on this morning is about us looking at the aspect of living a good life, not letting that term good be one of judgment. Certainly it can be one of discernment, but there is no judgment taking place if we remember that good in our philosophy and faith and way of life is a synonym for the word God. And if you do or do not like that word, don't use it if you don't like it. But remembering that God is the source of all there is, and God's qualities that we each individualize are peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom, as we addressed in our opening ritual. And so a good life then is one that is reflecting those qualities and reflecting our divine nature. And the difference that we're here to make is not one necessarily in the external world, but from the internal. And as we tune in and tend to that which is the internal world, the world of our mind, our heart, our soul, our being, then the external must change. I wanted to begin with this quote from the book, This Thing Called You by Ernest Holmes, because I think it speaks to exactly the journey I've been on the last few weeks, and one that I'm going to invite each one of us to take time to be on in our life. And the quote is this: I cleanse the windows of my mind that it may become a mirror, reflecting inspiration from the Most High. I do this not with strenuous effort, but through quiet contemplation, through gently reaching and affirming an inward recognition. Today I walk the pathway of inspiration. I know exactly what to do in every situation. There is an inspiration within me which governs every act, every thought, with certainty, with conviction, and in peace. Ernest Holmes. I wanted to open with this quote today because, as I said before, it reminded me of the time that I've spent away for the last 2+ weeks. And it definitely was a journey of cleansing the windows of my mind, allowing it to be a reflection of inspiration, living in spirit from the Most High. I did this walking on the beach and feeling the tug and the gravity of the flow of the waves while looking at seashells on the shore, and particularly this shore, which is filled with what looked like river rocks, but they're sea rocks. And so often I would see these rocks and wonder from where they had come and how did they get to this particular location. There's a spot on my morning beach walk that I was on that the sand became purple. And those of you that follow me on social media saw that I posted a photo of my foot in that purple, dark purple black sand, reflecting the color of my toenails that were painted a lavender. And it reminded me of the depths of not only Mother Earth, but the depths of the soul that exists within you and within me that is waiting for us to tap into this place through quiet contemplation, through reaching and affirming with an inward recognition of the Most High. As our beloved founder, Dr. David, used to quote often of that, it's that thing itself, as stated in the Bible, is waiting in smiling repose. In other words, it's sitting there saying to us, I'm here, baby. Come and get me when you're ready. I'm here. And so today our journey that we're going on is one with this purpose of being an inspiration for us to begin to hear and think anew in regards to our own personal journey of personal self-empowerment on our spiritual awakening, and ask ourselves, are we doubting spirit? Are we doubting our ability and the pathway that we're on of living in inspiration? Are we willing to remember that we indeed are walking this pathway and that we get to be inspired if we're willing to open our mind, to open our heart, to open our eyes and see things anew and to choose a new framework of mind? Our next meme is this one, which I've read to us several times when we were in Congregation Colony. It comes back to me, remembering those days standing at that podium, but I think it bears hearing again and hearing in a new framework of mind. And it says this: dear human, all of us, you got it all wrong. You didn't come here to master unconditional love. That is where you came from and where you'll return. You came here to learn personal love, universal love, messy love, sweaty love, crazy love, broken love, whole love, infused with divinity, lived through the grace of stumbling, demonstrated through the beauty of messing up. Often, you didn't come here to be perfect. You already are. You came here to be gorgeously human, flawed, and fabulous. And then to rise again into remembering. One of the things that I love about this teaching and this philosophy and this way of life is it's through that act of remembering, which is what James spoke or sang about in that song a moment ago, of when we forget who we are and what we're imbued with, to take a moment to cleanse those windows into our soul and let them then become a mirror reflecting the depths of truth that exist within us, which, let's just hear this anew, we've heard it so many times, which are inclusive of peace and power and beauty and joy and light and life and love and wisdom. And then as we're here to express our humanity in this messy, sweaty, crazy, broken, whole way, It's through that engagement of doing that consciously and from a place of awareness. Then the very thing itself rises up and makes itself known. We're not becoming more spiritual in that way. We are revealing our spiritual nature, which is what we are coming here to do, because there is no possibility of us becoming more spiritual. That doesn't happen through lighting more candles. It doesn't happen through stating affirmations. It doesn't happen by using spiritual mind treatment. It doesn't happen by walking on the beach. It doesn't happen by anything that takes place, because it's an impossibility for us to become more spiritual. However, there's a vast opportunity before us to become more tuned into that which already exists, which is our spiritual nature. And so how do we do that? It's through love. It's through love. Khalil Gibran tells us this, and God said, your next act in the journey is to love your enemy. And so I obeyed him, and I loved myself. Remembering that as individualized expressions of the thing itself, it's through that act of self-love that we begin to then fine-tune that vibrational frequency of our consciousness, and then emit a frequency that is more radiant of our innate nature. And because we live in a universe that is governed by spiritual law, and that which we put out must return to us, we then attract back to us more of the thing that we're doing, which is loving ourselves and releasing any need whatsoever to have any enemies in life. And to remember that there's no need to live in that state of opposites, but to yet choose to live into the state of oneness. Because we're each on this journey of personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. Lao Tzu in the Tao Te Ching tells us on this journey of loving thyself, which is a really big call in life, no matter where we are, to ask ourselves this: do we have the patience to wait until the mud settles and the water is clear? Can you remain unmoving until the right action arises by itself? What we're being told there in the Tao is, if there is that moment that we look into the mirror and see an enemy and don't believe we have the capacity to love thyself, to then not move into a state of judgment, of questioning, of quandary, but to take a deep breath in and have the patience to wait until the mud settles and the water is clear. And then to just stay in that place, and the right action of loving thyself arises, because its innate nature, the innate nature of the divine, which we are all imbued with, must reveal itself. Because it's the totality and the allness of everything that life is, all inclusive, just as it is, infinite by nature. And because we're one with it, we too are that. That in this state of unmoving, we're here to live in that state of inspiration in spirit, to let spirit rise up and find its joy. And as we express its joy, then we get to live in happiness. Those happy days are here again. Happiness as a result of the inside job. And as a result of that, we get to choose then to live a good life, no matter what is going on, and no matter whether we like the God word or not. On this journey of awakening, the Dalai Lama tells us this: whether you believe in God or not doesn't matter so much. Whether you believe in Buddha or not does not matter so much. As a Buddhist, whether you believe in reincarnation or not does not matter so much. You must lead a good life. And a good life does not mean just good food, good shelter, good clothes. These are not sufficient. A good motivation is what is needed. A good motivation is what is needed. Compassion, without dogmatism, without complicated philosophy, just understanding that others are human brothers and sisters and respecting their rights and human dignity. The Dolly here is telling us that in addition to loving thyself, not holding on to thyself as an enemy, to also then be inclusive of our brothers and sisters. And we all know that as he frames that in humanity, he's framing all sentient beings, all beings of life. That we're being called here to show up in a state of compassion without dogmatism. In other words, without judgment, without any predetermined rhetoric. Compassion, remember, is living with passion. And I love to break the word passion down to pass I, the oneness of life, the I am that I am that I am, onto the world. So the great Dalai Lama is telling us here to let go of all of that prescribed ideology for a moment and to tune in to our own heart, our own soul, our own mind, and then to make a covenant and commitment as we move into the stillness of where the thing itself rises up and makes itself known to us, through us, to then engage in life by honoring the oneness of life itself, to live in that place of the oneness, and it's from there that we tune in to the spiritual truth of, oh, hell yeah, happy days are here again. Now, I know you all think I'm going to break out into some Judy Garland song and Barbra Streisand duet right now, but I'm not. A, because I wouldn't do it justice, not because there's not an innate desire. But in this continuance of this journey of our awakening and choosing to know that happy days are here again when there may be conflict, not only in the external world, but conflict internally. And we wonder where we're at on this journey, that we may judge ourselves, that we're not in the right frame of mind, or we still judge, or we still fill in the blank, or we still blah, 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 blah. Let's remember that we're imbued with potential. And I love this graphic on the screens because as we choose to take a self-inventory of the very things that we desire to experience in life, we have to remember that through this multi-dimensionality of life itself, good is indeed making itself known through us. And so this graphic looks at us and shows us where it says, they told me I have so much potential. And if you look under the soil of creation, there's all the roots of all the seeds that we've planted. And we ask ourselves, why are we growing so slowly? Because all we see is that one little vine and plant and leaf. Let's remember that it is connected to the roots of every single thing that's taken place in our life to lead us to this very moment. And to choose for this moment to be a blessing. And to know that not just the things that we've said that we're not pleased with, not just through the acts of forgiveness of what we've done, but also to remember and to affirm and to accept that also in these tentacles of the roots that are there is every affirmation that's ever been spoken for us, every affirmation we've spoken for ourselves, every spiritual mind treatment, every good deed we've done, every expression of life, every moment that we've expressed love are all there as a foundation for us, as a roots of our consciousness, to remind us that we are indeed inspired, living in spirit, because the spirit is there always. And to now let that be the guide to us as we continue to express our life, and to look at this graph, not as if there is a limited expression, quite the opposite, that what is emerging through the soil of our mind is one plant, which is showing us and reminding us of the spiritual truth that it doesn't matter how it all looks in its multiplicitous ways, that at its root, truly, there is only one. And so as we continue on this pathway today of finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening, let's remember and ask ourselves, what is it that we are seeking in life? Is it more stuff or is it peace of mind? Is it stuff to accumulate, or is it a great framework of mind? And let's reframe the stuff itself, because remember, it's not about money, it's not about cars, it's not about food, it's not about the stuff. It's about consciousness. Albert Einstein tells us that concerning matter, those things I just addressed, we've been all wrong. What we have called matter is really energy, whose vibration has been lowered as to be perceptible to the senses, for there is no matter. There's only light and only sound. And so as we look even at these computer screens, let's remember that the vibrations have just simply been slowed down enough so that we can process them. But ultimately, all that there is infinitely is light and sound. And so we get to ask ourselves today, are we willing to see everything as light and sound in a new way? Light, it's one of the qualities of the divine, as is love and life and peace and power and beauty and joy. Let's choose to commit right now that what we are seeing before us in a new way is this great power of life itself. On my vacation, we were sitting at dinner one night. We all took a deep breath. We were out on a deck at this wonderful restaurant, and what began to rise up in the sky was this beautiful red moon, vibrant, in the deepest coral red color I'd ever seen. And we were all aghast while looking at it, which then caused us to move into a conversation of the energy of life itself. The energy of the light that the moon was reflecting. And one of the gentlemen that was with us is a photographer. And we began to talk about the reflection of light and the source of light and how one can manipulate the framework of light. And then hearing the ocean crash back and forth. And it reminded me of this particular quote that everything is light and sound, and to not get attached to it because it's forever transforming itself, as are you and I. And so the key to this act of transformation is to not hang on to stuff that doesn't matter, whether it's an idea or a physical thing. It's important to not live our life with a cluttering of the mind or a cluttering of stuff. Not always easy for me. Can be a pack rat a bit. But today we have before us the opportunity to let go of anything that is tethering us to an unclear awareness and acceptance and practice of who we are as spiritual beings. And so as it says to us on the screen and is asking us, is what we're holding on to worth the space that it's taking up? If so, let's let it go. Let's return to where we begin. Let's let go of the very things that are causing us angst or pain or discord or disturbance. As I've said several times, I was on a beach for a while. And one of the things that I love to do while walking on the beach in the morning is listen to music if I'm not just listening to the waves. And one of the things I listen to is this song that's a mantra for me in life. And many of you have heard it before and you've heard these lyrics, but I think it's very pertinent right now to hear them in the context of letting go of this stuff. The title of the song is I Walk Away by Eddie Watkins Jr. And I invite you to hear them in a new way, these lyrics right now, as a guidepost to going deeper into your soul and releasing the very things that are enslaving us on our journey of finding our personal self-empowerment through a spiritual awakening. And they're this: every morning the light keeps getting brighter as I wake up to the truth. And every day I'm feeling so much lighter as the world seems fresh and new. For what I was taught and the way I thought stopped serving me long ago. So now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. For each day I start anew. So I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. Today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led me to confusion, for today is the day I walk away. I'm walking away from the path that led to such sadness, for today is the day I walk away. And I commit to every day I walk away. And so, every morning it brings a new beginning by grace, another day to be. I awaken to the sun upon me, shining, lighting the way for me to see. All things I sought and the way that I thought stopped serving me long ago. For now I'm learning to trust in the God of all of us. For in yesterday, I'm letting go. I'm walking away from the thinking that held me for so long. For today is the day I walk away. And so I invite you today to walk away from the things, whether you know them or not, that's holding you back from living from a perspective to know that happy days by God are here again because you're choosing to live a good life and because you and I are willing to let the light, the source, rise up and let the windows to our soul be a mirror to not only reflect that which is within us, but to then illuminate the pathway of that which is before us. The great teacher, Winnie the Pooh, tells us and reminds us that life is a journey to be experienced with unconditional, messy, broken, sweaty, human love, not a problem to be solved. And if all you can do in the next step of this journey is crawl, as Rumi tells us, by God, get on all fours and start crawling. For it's all about one step at a time. And so today, let's you and I take a step into newfound happiness through love. Our new thought for the day yesterday was this quote from Lin-Manuel Miranda as he was near tears when he accepted his Tony Award. And it's this: love is love, is love, is love, is love, is love, is love, is love. It cannot be killed or swept. What profound words and a prompt for each of us to choose a new state of mind today. And let's choose today as the day to not only walk away, but to open up and put this statement into action. Happy days are here again. And so it is. Thank you. It's good to be home. I'd like to welcome back James Harper.
Oh, what a message. In the spirit of that, this song is called Happy. And I'm sure y'all know it. Oh, give me 1 second. It must seem crazy what I'm about to say. Sunshine, she's here, you can take a break. Hot air balloon that could go to space. With the air like I don't care, baby, by the way. Because clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you, yeah. Clap along if you feel like that's what you wanna do. Here come bad news, talking this and that. But give me all you got and don't hold back. I should probably warn you, I'll be just fine. No offense to you, don't waste your time. Here's why: because I'm clap along if you feel like a room without a roof. Clap along if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know that's what you want to do. Yeah. Clap along if you know what happiness is to you. Bring me down, you can't nothing. Bring me down, my level's too high. Bring me down, can't nothing. Bring me down, and let me tell you now. Bring me down, can't nothing. Bring me down, I said my level's too high. Bring me down, can't nothing. Bring me down, I said I belong if you feel like a room without a roof. I belong if you feel like happiness is the truth. Clap along if you know that happiness is to you. Hey, clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Clap along if you feel like that's what you want to do. Hey.
I'm going to clap along.
Clap along.
Do a little dance. I love it. Great job. Robert and I were texting back and forth, singing, trading dancing emojis with each other. So
Let's go. That's what I'm talking about.
Oh, exactly. Well, thank you, James. You've definitely brought a happiness field into our service this morning. Thank you.
I'm honored to be here. Thank you so much.
So wonderful, wonderful, wonderful. Do you have more birthday celebrations to take place over the next day or so?
I think we're winding down. I'm recovering from the last one. So
Good. All right. Sounds good. Thank you, James.
Thank you.
All right, everyone. So now is the opportunity for us to support our beloved community, the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. And we do that through the act of conscious giving. And I want you to know that all manners and means by which you financially support our center is deeply honored and respected and appreciated. I'm going to put the methodology for those on the screen, and you'll see them now through our conscious giving. And the ways to do that is to go to our website, which is csl-la.org, and click on donate. Or you can go to the app in the App Store, our Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles. Also, I'll come back to the app in a moment. You can do that, make myself a note, as well as you can mail in a check. Our address is 1200 North La Brea Avenue, West Hollywood, California, 90038, or my number's on the screen if you'd like to call me and take care of that privately. We're going to invite James back, now that he's caught his breath, to take us through our conscious giving song of Love is My Decision, while we each take a moment and support our community financially.
Love is my decision. It's up to me to give of my heart. Love is my decision. No one else can tell me to start. And once I decide to change my mind, Source will show me how. Love is my decision. My decision right here, right now.
Oh, and so I affirm for each one of us that love is our decision. And so it's through this love is multiplied abundantly. This is true for us in the financial sense in our life as well. So we give with an open mind and an open hand and an open heart, with the deepest of faith that the law of life is doing its part, bringing it back to us, multiplied abundantly. Good exists by means of each one of us and us collectively. Here we grow again. Amen. And so it is. And so I want to remind you of some things that are coming up here. The Wednesday morning meditations resume this week at Wednesday morning, 8:30 a.m. You can join us online through Zoom, and you will either you can turn your camera on and we can see you, or you can just participate through the audio. It's a guided morning meditation. It's a great way, as I say every Sunday, to anchor yourself into the week of what's ahead, or the week itself. The week has already started now. Anyway, guided meditation, fantastic. Give yourself the gift. It'll help you align yourself with your spiritual truth and to tap into the ability for your window to become your mirror of life itself. A huge thank you to James for our music this morning. A huge thank you to Robert Hensley, who takes care of us through social media and administrative stuff. A huge thank you to Travis Smith, who always works diligently to keep us providing the best audio possible to everyone. Once again, as I said, a big thank you to those that covered while I was away, our beloved Dr. Maureen Hoyt, and to Yaron Spiewak, and to John Randall, and to Jeffon Seeley, and to Robert and Travis and everyone, and to all of you. I would like to remind us all to send love to our Jewish brothers and sisters, as tomorrow night at sundown they begin their high holy days of Rosh Hashanah. Also like to remind you that our weekly e-newsletter goes out tomorrow. It starts first part of the week. If you're receiving that, I hope you enjoy that and you're appreciating that. That's news for us. Please follow us also on social media on Facebook and Instagram and our YouTube channel. Also, just a reminder, the app in the App Store, Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles, a great tool and resource for information, along with our website, CSL-LA.org. On both of those, we've added a click where you can go in and click to sign up for the daily text, a new thought for the day, as well as anyone that you may know. You can send them the link to sign that up. No longer do they have to be registered. We've got it set up so it comes directly to us. So I encourage you to do that. And I hope you're all getting those new thoughts for the day, appreciating and enjoying them. Once again, a pleasure to be back with you all. I know that all is well. If you're joining us on Zoom after our service today, those that are on Zoom can stay online and we can say hello to each one that we would like to do that. For those that are joining us through Facebook, that's not an option, but we want you to know that we feel you in our heart and we're so happy that you're here today. And let's move into September, not only choosing to be happy, but also choosing to give of our love and to pass along what we here at the Center for Spiritual Living Los Angeles has to offer and to give. And let's do our part in growing our community. With that, we're going to close with a meditation. So I invite us all to anchor ourselves into the awareness of the power that exists within. We do that by closing our eyes if it feels comfortable. Taking a deep breath in through our nose to the count of 3. Holding and exhaling out to the mouth, out through the mouth to the count of 3. 1, 2, and 3. As we repeat this process, we inhale and exhale. In our mind's eye, we see ourselves going deeper into our soul. Feeling the light as it streams down into us. Allowing these windows of our mind to be cleansed. Seeing them then become the mirror that reflects the inspiration from the Most High. And so today we open up to moving forward in a state of happiness by choosing to live a good life for ourselves and others. and make a commitment to ourselves that it need not be done through strenuous effort. But we feel the feelings of the act of quiet contemplation. By gently reaching and affirming through inward recognition and letting go of that which was. As we inhale. And with this exhale, we envision ourselves walking away. From the sadness, the confusion, the worry, and the doubt. Because we know that deep within us is the wisdom to know, and to know that we know what to do and what to be in every situation. And that is the power, the presence of life itself. Today is a new day. And it's a happy day. We let it be. As we inhale together and exhale. Repeating this pattern of another inhalation, bringing our awareness back to our physical space, and exhaling and saying out loud, and so it is. Thank you for being here today. I trust and know that your day ahead is one that is happy, is filled with peace and blessings, and you give to all sentient beings the very thing that's reflected in the mirror of your soul, which is your light, your joy, and your peace. Let there be peace on earth, and it has begun with you and me today. Have a great Sunday. Goodbye.